So, do you find yourself scrolling past articles with titles like 7 Ways to Increase Your Email Subscribers by 20% or How to Gain More Followers on Social Media? Because they kind of all just say the same thing. You are not alone. It's called list fatigue, and it will ruin most of your marketing efforts if you leave it unchecked. So, list fatigue happens when people are overexposed to emails that don't provide any new information or are not keeping a pulse on what the reader actually wants to be consuming. I know you're busy, you've got a million things on your plate, not to mention the fact that you're trying to grow a business, right? And you're trying to make more money. So, taking the time to pump out relevant, fresh, new content week after week, sometimes it can feel like it's just too much. So, to help you understand list fatigue, prevent and overcome it, I'm going to jump in today and share 5 ways that you can overcome list fatigue. Hello and welcome to another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon, and I'm really excited to talk to you more about list fatigue because I think it's something that a lot of people aren't aware of. I don't hear it talked about widely, and there are ways that you can overcome it. So let's jump right in. So up first is don't cast a wide net. Oh my gosh, if I've said it before, I've said it a million times. If you are marketing to everyone, you are marketing to no one. And I say this so often that I was in a meeting this week with a client who had just been in a marketing meeting with one of her partners. And she was telling me that I was telling them, if you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. And I was like, good job. And she was like, I know, I was a mini Jenny. And I thought, amazing. I'm so glad that that's been helpful. And if your business is big enough, then that wide net strategy, it can work. But let's face it, you are a small business and you'd rather not have to catch and release audience members. And that's why really knowing your ideal client, and we've talked about that a million times as well, is really key to building out that community and audience that you're really looking for that's going to be active and engaged. And learning more about your audience really helps you to touch on their likes and dislikes, pain points, and find out where are they hanging out at. And the more that you speak directly to your ideal client avatar, the more engaged they will be, which means higher conversion rates. And next up is keep it real. Oh my gosh. So the best way to engage your customers is by really understanding their pain points and their interests. And you want to be creative with the content that you create, because one of the keys in marketing today is really storytelling, right? We hear about it all the time. And that's something that, we do in our business all the time. We really drive home storytelling techniques. These techniques will make a story memorable, right? And you don't want to forget this when you're communicating through emails. Your emails really do need to be part of your story-driven content. And connective writing is the number one way to keep those open rates up. If your email content provides little value to your readers, or it's flat out uninteresting or oversaturated in the market, your open and your click-through rates will go down, or worse, they'll go stagnant. And next up is timing is everything. Oh my gosh. So of course you don't want to be too pushy in your emails. There's really a fine line between, not letting your customers forget you and staying top of mind, and being super aggressive in reminding them about your brand, but if they have subscribed, then you want to make sure you don't hit that limit where they unsubscribe. So you don't want to spam them with emails when they haven't requested it. You can create different segments within your email list that's really based on interactive logic data that, is going to come from your reader directly. So it's really simple. You want to ask them what they want to hear about. And then you really want to stick with all of the best email practices. Did they opt into your newsletter? Then send them the newsletter. Did they opt in for a freebie? then send them the freebie, and then ask how they'd like to hear from you and what topics they're interested in. And then you can create and send a schedule that makes sense for your audience, right? So you don't want to, I see it sometimes and it might work where you get an email every single day, but I can't keep up with that. I just can't. Even if it's someone that I'm really interested in and I really want to hear what they have to say, I don't have time to read an email every single day. So they end up getting archived and I think I'll read them later, or I unsubscribe because it's just too much. So I always try to say, keep it around, once a week. My goodness, if you're doing it much more than that, every single day, that can become a problem. And the next step is to really keep an eye on your metrics. So most email marketing systems include some sort of analytic information. And more often than not, you will see which campaign was a success with the clicks and the opens, and it's really important that you keep your, finger on the pulse of that. You want to keep an eye on those numbers because it's going to show you what your readers are interested in. What are they opening? What are they clicking on? What are they interested in? And you want to give them more of that. And once you see those numbers kind of backslide, then it's time to change. It's time to offer them something new and something fresh. And this will really help to keep you ahead and not run into email list fatigue. And it will also keep you in the know of what your audience is currently interested in. So if you need help understanding these numbers and what to do with them, then please reach out. I'm always happy to help. You can schedule a consult at jennylyon.com/chat. I'd be happy to discuss it with you. And last but not least is wake them up. If you're using email marketing, list fatigue, it will be a reality for you. Besides the best practices that we went through today to help prevent this, we want to talk a little bit more about what to do when part of your list does go stagnant. So if you look at the 30, 60, 90-day rule, part of your segmentation strategy should include tracking, whether it's links or tags for engagement activity. So creating tracking for subscribers who haven't opened your emails in say 30, 60, or 90 days. Once your subscriber reaches that 90 days of not opening your emails, you want to drop them into your wake up email campaign. So what does a wake up email campaign look like? Well, it usually consists of about 3 emails. The first one kind of being like a knock email, right? So this email is kind of the tap on the shoulder. We haven't heard from you in a while, and then give them something of value, maybe a new freebie or a new resource, something to re-engage them. Next up is storytelling, right? Again, story-driven content. It's so, so important. You really want to identify 3 to 5 pain points or something relevant, in your journey to recapture and reconnect with your audience. And then last but not least is ask. You want to ask them if they want to remain on your list, or is it time to say goodbye? No hard feelings. We understand. If it's not a right fit, it's not a right fit. And of course, again, if you aren't sure where to start when it comes to your email marketing, please reach out. I'm always happy to help. So let's talk again. What did we learn today? Oh my gosh. So again, you cannot market to everyone. I hear this over and over and over again. Everyone is my ideal client. No, they're not, right? You really need to niche down to find your ideal client if you want your marketing to be successful. And of course, that begins with creating interesting and engaging content. You want to make sure that all of the content that you're putting out is valuable, it's actionable. People look forward to receiving it and they get some sort of quick win from it. And of course, timing and frequency, oh my gosh, those are key. You do not want to overwhelm your reader. And next up is data. What are your metrics? And keep a pulse on them. What is your audience interested in? And make sure that you're adjusting accordingly. And of course, ask. You can re-engage your audience with connective writing. So think story-driven content, and re-engage them and ask them what they're interested in. So list fatigue, it can really affect your business's growth, and following these tips on how to identify and prevent it from happening, as well as tips on how to revive your list can really become invaluable. And if you aren't clear on your ideal client avatar and really how to speak to them with that story-driven content, then I highly recommend downloading my free resource. It's a ICA, Ideal Client Avatar Template, and you can grab it at jennylyon.com/ICA. And with that in hand, you can really set yourself up for success early on. And of course, like I said, if you do need help or you have any type of questions, you're kind of running into things where you're not quite sure what to do, please reach out. Happy to answer any questions that you have. And I hope that you found these tips and, on list fatigue helpful, and these tips on how to avoid it or overcome it helpful. And if you use any of them, I would love to hear how it goes. Please drop me a note. I'm always happy to hear from my audience. And I hope that you all are doing well. I will see you next time on another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. Bye for now.